the Dolphins are certified contenders in the AFC, hands down. They've proven their doubters wrong. They could have and they probably should have made the playoffs last year, but the AFC was just that damn competitive, which speaks to the talent level in that conference. But a team that is building around a great defense, arguably the best secondary unit in the game, a good defensive line, a little lacking in the linebackers, and a little lacking in maybe an edge rusher as well. And that's why you bring in free agent Melvin Ingram to the team. He's going to really help put that defense over the top. And if they're already contenders now, they're going to be a shoo-in as a contender for next season with this level of defensive talent. And
I
and a team that has the salary cap money because they are only eighth on the list, so they could afford it.
Man, did you post the salary cap list in the back of your eyelids before you went to bed last night? Jeez, man's got this thing down pat right now. That's incredible. Just background research by Ross Allen here. Don't tell this man he's not prepared. But I
I
think
do a
Melvin
lot of
Ingram.
stuff
I
during
think his
class I
best landing
shouldn't.
spot. That you just admitted to sleeping during class too.
No, I don't
Melvin
sleep. I
Ingram.
just do work of this. Senioritis hits me hard, bro.
The man's efficient. We can always give him that. But I think Melvin Ingram lands back with his old defensive coordinator Gus Bradley, and he's going to go to the Las Vegas Raiders because Las Vegas Raiders have been starving for a pass rusher ever since they gave away Khalil Mack. And while Mad
First
Max
off, both
Crosby has
assume
been
that the
a
Raiders are
great
going to keep
story.
Gus Bradley, which they shouldn't. They really shouldn't.
Mm, I don't know. I think Melvin Ingram is going to stay in the division. He seems like a West Coast kind of guy, and I don't know. Vegas. I don't see Vegas not being a huge free agent destination, in the
Mm.
coming years because there's always that 10%, 20% of the league that is just absolute degenerates. They want to be around the nightlife. They want to be around action, and Vegas is going to have a ton of money pouring
Hey,
through
I'm gonna
their
tell you,
franchise,
Vegas.
and I
It's
think
not
this
about the
team's going to
strip. It's not
spend.
about the nightlife. What it's really about, Alex, zero income tax, baby. More money for me.
100%.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I see Melvin Ingram going to Vegas.
Ooh, that'd be a lot of fun. But admittedly, bias wise, please leave the division. I don't want you there anymore because you've caused enough trouble. Now, going to Bud Dupree as our next guy, another linebacker. And a team that needs linebackers, a team, well, they need more than just a linebacker. But obviously, defense is their weak suit. They're doing good on offense. They're slowly building that up, and we can see that they need to start working on that defense as well. Bud Dupree to the Matt Rule led Carolina Panthers kind of secure that middle spot of the field up and just fill in another piece that they need to keep working towards because the Carolina Panthers, they need, a tight end. They probably need uh, um, probably a quarterback. We'll get into that. And then they need a linebacker and edge rusher. This guy can kind of do both. And so that fills up a good hole right there.
Yeah, I think that he is. First off, I'm going to agree with you. I think Carolina is a great landing spot for Bud Dupree. I think he can bookend with Brian Burns, and they play a very very similar style game where they're that edge rusher that can drop into coverage that is great in run defense, and two guys that just are very versatile. And I think that is what you need in an offense that is super, super young. Because I mean, we touched on this in the draft coverage we had, with Carolina, that they were the only team in the NFL to use every single draft pick on a defensive guy. And you need some free agents, you need some veteran leadership. And Bud Dupree has been in the Pittsburgh Steelers system. Great linebackers in that system. They churn guys out. I think he's going to be able to bring that knowledge in, bring along some of these young guys. They have a good defensive line already. They need to shore up that back end and that linebacker core. And I think Bud Dupree can fill a couple different holes that this team really has. And I think he's going to be a huge addition to a young defense in Carolina.
And sticking with a linebacker type guy, let's talk about Haason Reddick, a guy that really stepped into his own over this last 2020 season with the Arizona Cardinals, a team that now has a JJ freaking Watt, a guy I mean, that move just came out of nowhere, Alex. I swear, when you had the Bears, I had the Bills. He was teasing both those teams too, and then what does he do?
He was. I thought we were in the running. I thought we were in a good
Right?
spot.
It ain't no. He just goes to the desert. I'm like, I love the move. By the way, I love the move. I like him. That he still looks good in red. So he has that down. Uh, but oh man, him, Chandler Jones, the two top sack leaders from 2011, I believe is what the stat is, which is
That's the number.
ooh, that's a scary duo. And then
Crazy.
also,
Last 10 years, the two guys that have the sack leaders the last 10 years are on the same team right now.
let's throw in
And double
Hassan
team them
Reddick
both.
too, right? Right. And to
And
make it
double team them
worse,
both.
let's throw in Hassan Reddick, a guy that had a killer season last year, make that defense that much more lethal. Ain't just franchise tag this guy and you keep him in Arizona to see how this whole kind of trio works out. If not, if it doesn't work out this season, it's not too big of a deal. But I say you let it ride. You keep this group together, adding JJ Watt to it, and see what kind of damage you can do in that NFC West.
Yeah, I don't know. I see him going on the opposite coast. I see him going down to Florida, going down to Jacksonville. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a ton of holes on their defense, but mainly that defensive end spot. They lost Yannick Ngakoue last year. I think Hassan Reddick is able to fill that. More of an outside backer than a true just put your hand in the ground defensive end. I think Urban Meyer, he's got a college type system. In college, he had always had incredible pass rushers, whether he's at Florida or whether he's at Ohio State. So Hassan Reddick is going to just give him that tool, that asset to have it on the edge. And I just see him filling that gap that, Yannick Ngakoue and pairing Hassan Reddick and Miles Jack together, I think is going to be an incredible tandem. So much athleticism, so many tackles. They're going to be great against the run. And that's something you definitely need to do in the AFC South with probably two of the top 5 running backs in the NFL in that division. So you need to be great against the run. And I think Hassan Reddick gives them that asset to be able to compete for years to come.
And now moving on to the next guy, we talked about underrated guys. This might be the most underrated guy in the league.
I
And
wonder why you said that. I wonder if you picked him as that guy last year.
I did say that this guy was going to be the most underrated player in Shaq Barrett, and he still is. But luckily, people are finally starting to put some freaking respect on his name. He's coming off being franchise tagged by the Tampa Bay Bucks, and with all this newfound respect, Alex, all this success he had during the season, especially in the Super Bowl, being a guy that really led them, helped lead that pressure, help just make a awful day in the office for Patrick Mahomes. Shaq Barrett is finally going to get the respect he deserves, and he's going to get that back. He's going to get a nice, good looking 4-year contract this offseason to stay with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Are they able to franchise tag Barrett again?
I think technically they're able to franchise tag him, but there's a
Okay.
different guy that you should be franchise tagging on that team.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, but I think they're going to do whatever they can to keep Shaq Barrett. Uh, the funny thing about winning the Super Bowl last year and having Tom Brady as your quarterback is,
Mhm.
how freaking cool is it to play with Tom Brady and to play for Bruce Arians? Like that's got to be like the most fun team in the NFL, and I don't know why you wouldn't want to stay with that team. Um, Shaq Barrett is always going to have that opportunity to get his big money. I don't see him signing a long-term deal in Tampa
Mhm.
Bay because I think that a lot of those guys on Tampa Bay, if they
Does
do
that belong to
come back,
Levante David?
I think the same thing with Devontae Davis. I think they're both going to just sign short-term deals
I think
because
he's going to be tagged. Is the thing. I think he's just going to be tagged. Call
you
it good.
think you think Barrett is,
I
or do
think
you
David's
think
going to get tagged.
I don't think so because I don't know if you have to pay him that much money. Like what people like forget to understand is the franchise tag is not cheap. It's not
No,
inexpensive.
it's
You
a
don't
lot of money.
you don't franchise tag a guy unless you think he's going to get big money
Levante
because the
David should
fran
get big money. He should get some big money.
No, I agree. That's
Okay.
why No, I don't agree. Lavonte David should get top 5 money. I think
Mm,
he's a little past his prime. I mean, he's got to be up there. What is he? Mid 30s, early 30s?
yeah.
Hold on,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to look this
Don't
up.
matter.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't think Shaq Barrett gets a huge contract
He is
this year. I think the
31 though.
AAV is going to be huge. I just don't think it's going to be long term because all those bucks are on Tom Brady's timeline, and that's just how I think they're going to structure a lot of their deals if they do have their veterans come back.
That's fair. And I just want to throw this out there, not really on the list, but Levante David to the Broncos. Let's make that happen. Uh, let's. Yes, please. Or
Anybody else you want to request from the Broncos? That's top 5 of their position.
Richard Sherman.
Top 5 of their position. Give me a break.
Just want to give you that.
Gosh, I don't think he's capable of playing man-to-man defense anymore. The only reason he was good the last 2 years in the 49ers defense is he's an incredibly smart cornerback and plays the zone,
All right, Alex,
top 5 in the league.
Top 5 in their position. Is Patrick Peterson a top 5 guy in his position?
It's system dependent, but yes.
All right, then let's talk him because he's our last defensive guy for this show. And a team that is rebuilding, a team that needs to work on their defense, a team that needs a defensive secondary to actually be in place. Patrick Peterson, he's going to stay with the red and black, but he's going to the red and black that is in Atlanta, Georgia. Patrick Peterson to the Atlanta Falcons. Let's make that one happen right there with not going to be a super high value contract because he's probably little on the I guess he's on the decline at this point in his career, but so really good guy to in that secondary and the guy that I would love to have on my team if I was Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, let's play a little game here. Where is a team where elite cornerbacks go to end their career?
Is that Atlanta?
No, it's not.
That's
I'm
not
sorry.
Atlanta.
Is okay, same team I'm talking about here. Where's a team that had a defensive player in the year in the last 3 years and is probably going to trade that player?
Are you talking about Stephon Gilmore?
I am talking about Stephon Gilmore. Patrick Peterson is going to take the route that Darrelle Revis took after being with the same team for multiple years, being an all-pro at your position, being a cornerstone, Revis Island, and Patrick Peterson was on that same level for a couple years there in Arizona. And after they trade Stephon Gilmore, which most executives right now are saying is almost a foregone conclusion. So once that happens, New England's going to have a massive hole in the secondary, and Stephon Gilmore is your, quintessential lockdown corner, 1-to-1, man coverage specialist corner, and Patrick Peterson fits that same mold. He's a big physical, get in your face kind of corner, and I think especially with half of the refs being on New England's payroll, a guy that uses their hands a lot and is a very physical corner, you need that extra boost of, we're not going to call illegal contact or a PI on this guy. We'll call it on the next time because we're still getting paid by the old Bill Belichick, Bob Kraft machine there. So Patrick Peterson to the New England Patriots, you can book it.